Alright, welcome to another gameplay review on the Pickleball Chiro YouTube channel. So today we're going to review another 3-0 level game. This was a game I played with my family a couple weeks ago. And one of the big things you're going to notice in this game is a lot of the points come down to the serve and the return and court positioning. That's a big theme that you're going to see over and over in this game. So we'll go ahead and jump in. We'll break down the first point here. So we're starting off with a pretty good serve, shallow return, and then I'm going to attack some of these balls. So let's break down why I chose to attack here. Let's see. Hold up. Let me back it up. So firstly, you'll see that my partner, she hits a very shallow return and she stays back. She doesn't come up. So I see this. So automatically, I'm on high alert right here. I know that he's probably going to try and push it back to her. He doesn't want to come to me because I'm already up here. If you have somebody that's back like this, you want to keep them back and potentially try to push me back in the process. So already I'm looking for him to potentially go back that way. I'm still having to think about my line as well, but I'm not too worried about it because it wouldn't be the smartest play in this situation. So I'm looking for a ball right in this area, and that's exactly what I get. He kind of drops it in. I would probably hit a drive in that situation, but he leaves it way too high, and I'm able to kind of poach it and put it away, and then he's not able to reset it cleanly. So anytime your partner is, maybe they're hitting all the balls to your partner or your partner's getting pushed back, that's an opportunity for you to potentially be more aggressive. Now, you still have to think about your side of the court, but if they hit a bad shot, let's say they leave a drop a little too high, you can step in and be aggressive and volley that ball away. So that's exactly what I did there. Okay, we got another shallow serve, and then we're just moving the ball around. And then right here, so I basically construct this entire point by myself. So we'll kind of see what happens here. So we'll break it down. So we got shallow serve. Now she hits a pretty decent return kind of in the middle here. So I'm going to take this ball and then kind of drop it back to her towards the middle. Now, from this position, I see that it's probably going to get popped up, so I'm looking for that ball kind of here in the middle. I'm just going to keep dropping it in, getting ourselves to the line, so I'm going to drop it in to his backhand and then set ourselves up. Now, from here, this is where the positioning comes into play. Notice how they're both very close to the middle here, especially her right here. When that ball comes to me, she needs to be shifting over to cover the line. She's leaving open all the space over here. Now from here, my body language looks like I might go back to the middle or cross court back this way. But because I see her cheating very hard to the middle, she's not sliding over. So I'm actually going to redirect this ball up the line to push her off balance and try and set myself up for something, and she puts it way high in the middle, right in my strike zone, and I'm able to put it away. So that's just, anytime that I see both players in the middle like that, it's pretty much a lose-lose situation because you can put it in the middle and, two things may happen. Either they may both try to go for it, which is very common, and then also neither one of them may go for it, which is also a common scenario. And then at the same time, I can go, up the line here and pull them off balance or pull them out wide. And then, they're in a situation where they're probably going to pop up the ball. So it's just, there's a lot of bad things that can go wrong when you have both players kind of camped out in the middle here. So just be conscious of that. When that ball, like let's say he hits a dink cross court, if you're on this right side, you need to shift over to help cover more of this line. It's your partner's job to cover the middle if the ball is straight up the line in front of you. And then as that ball shifts back to the other side, then you need to shift alongside your partner. So that'll come up several times throughout this game. So Okay, so a couple things happening here. So let's break it down. So again, very shallow serve. He's gonna step in, hit a decent return. Now she's gonna drop it in. She actually hits a pretty good drop. But again, if you'll notice, she's trying to hit this. This ball is dropping in towards her left leg, but she's basically coming across trying to hit this forehand inside in. And from that kind of angle, you can't generate any topspin. If you're reaching across your body to hit a forehand, you're basically, your only option is you're going to pop the ball up. So as soon as I see that, I'm looking for this high ball kind of here in the middle here. And then that's exactly what happens. So I do decide to just kind of roll it in up the line here, trying to go to his backhand. And then he does a good job of pushing it back cross court, and then we kind of dink it out here. And then from here, so this is where, so he's going to try and come in and poach this ball, but he's not aggressive enough. He doesn't shift his body enough. I mean, it could potentially be an attackable ball, but he's not shifting over enough to try and get it. So then he ends up lunging way too far. He's really overextended trying to get that ball, and he's not able to hit it cleanly 100%. He doesn't fully commit to it. And then, what ends up happening is neither player fully commits. They only commit like maybe 20-30% of the way, and then nothing ends up happening. The ball goes into the net. So technically that should have been her ball, but because he doesn't fully commit to the poach, it kind of throws off both of their their timing, and neither one fully commits to it, and then they both end up missing it basically. So again, it's not bad that he tried to poach it. It's just he didn't do enough. He didn't shift over enough laterally. If you see, if you're on this right side here and you see your partner trying to be a little more aggressive, you can give them some space. Like, that's totally fine. But if you don't think you can get to that ball, if you're not 100% confident you're going to be able to get in, then you better concede and just let your partner take the ball. So only go for it if you're 100% confident you can actually get there. Okay, so same thing kind of happened here. So let's break it down. Okay, so again, kind of medium-ish serve here. Pretty good return to the middle, so I try to roll it in. And then we just kind of get into this reset battle here. And then now we're dinking it out. So right here, so she pushes me kind of out wide here. Now from this angle, I could have went down the line here and beat her because she's hanging out very tightly to the middle, and they're both kind of hanging out here. So I do see that. So I have two options here. I can go up the line, try and pull her out wide, potentially set myself up for an Ernie or a pop-up back to the middle, or I can go right down the middle here and try to get both of them to commit to the ball, because she's playing very aggressively in the middle, and then he's playing the middle like he should, but she's playing a little too much over. So I'm going to actually try and see if they'll both commit, and then that's exactly what happens. They both try to go for it. Now, it should have been his ball because it's the X pattern and it's his forehand. She gets in the way basically and then forces the miss right there. So another example of how when you have both players hugging the middle, it's basically setting yourself up for failure. You're either opening up angles down the line, or you're putting yourself in a situation where if you go down the middle, well, now you better make sure you know who's taking that ball, because if both of you commit or both of you don't commit, you're losing the point either way. Okay, so a couple things happening here. So there's a good little exchange here. So let's break it down. So kind of a shallow serve here, kind of a shallow return, a little bit of a higher drop there, but that's okay. We kind of reset the ball. So I actually kind of try to volley it out of the air. It was kind of right in my strike zone, so I do try to punch it down the middle, and then we get into this pop-up exchange, and now we're volleying and resetting, and then I just try to reset the point, dink it out. Now this is where the setup happens here. So once we kind of reset the ball and I'm able to kind of dink it out, so right here I see that, so she's actually in this situation now that she pushed it back cross court to me, she's doing good by playing the middle. He doesn't slide over to cover the line, so I see that they're both hugging the middle right here. So I'm going to actually push him out wide, and then as soon as I see him turn his body like that, drop his head down, I know that I'm about to get an Ernie set up, so I'm going to go for it, and then that's exactly what happens. I kind of push it back. I try to redirect it back down the line here, and end up kind of jamming her right there. So because of, you know, both players hugging the middle, I was able to set myself up for an Ernie. So like all kind of possibilities there. You know, you can jam them down the middle, you can pull them out wide, and try to make them dink it back to the middle. You can set yourself up for an Ernie, like all types of possibilities. So that's just a pattern recognition thing. Like you see both players hugging the middle, be looking for opportunities. And then I just get lazy and miss the drop there. Okay, so same thing happening here. So pretty good return, but look what she does. She slides over to the middle. I have no idea why she's doing this. He's got most of this side covered. Her only job is to basically cover her body and down the line here, and then she basically leaves this wide open gap right here, and as soon as she slides over, I recognize it, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go down the line, and then she gets caught watching it. So, you know, another example of hugging too closely to the middle causes the missed opportunity there. And then just get unlucky there. The ball double bounces off to the side there, but nothing I can do. Okay, so let's just break that down. So let's see here. Okay. So let me back it up. So yeah, pretty good return, but then she gets backed up a little bit, you know, hit the ball back at her feet. She doesn't get all the way up to the line, so she ends up getting pushed back a little bit, and then even right here, she's still hanging back. She should have came up, and I was trying to, you know, I saw that she didn't come up, so I was like, I got to be a little more aggressive here. I'm kind of giving away a little bit more of this line than I probably should. Now, I'm not confident that she can beat me down the line, so I wasn't really worried about it. But, you know, at 4.550 level, I'm hugging that line tightly. I'm waiting for it because it's coming. But at 3.0 level, I'm not worried about it. I'm more anticipating this poach down the middle. So, and then right there, she's just not ready. She doesn't have her paddle out in front. It's kind of down in front of her body. In that situation, it's like you just need to be ready. Have your paddle out in front, ready to counter that ball. Especially at this level, like you don't really know what's coming. Like they can counter the ball. They may speed up balls. Like at the 3.0 level, you know, it's really chaotic. The points are unstructured. You know, people are going to speed up balls that they really have no business speeding up. So you really have to be ready for anything. Okay. Yep. So same thing here. So let's back it up just a little bit. So really good serve, and then I actually hit a very shallow return, but I'm able to get up to the line at least. Now she doesn't hit a really good drop. You know, again, kind of hitting across the body here. Let me actually back it up and see that contact point. So again, it's like her contact is very, very close to her body. It's not going to get a lot of topspin. So, you know, I'm looking for a higher ball that I can put away, and that's exactly what I get. I'm going to roll this with a two-hand backhand right at their feet, and then easy pop-up. And again, because she's hugging the middle, she leaves this wide open angle over here. Now on a high ball, it's like I have that angle anyway, but even on a lower ball, like there's so much wide open court here, like I'm just gonna go to the outside edge of the court here. I'm gonna take that angle because if they're both hugging the middle, there's a lot of open court space that I have to work with. So again, just another example of like two players hugging too closely to the middle and bad things happen. So I actually missed this ball here, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because so she hits a very, very shallow return. Now this should be his ball, but she actually chooses to come in and steal it, and I don't know why. Because her job should be to kind of crash in here, let him hit this drop. Like as soon as he recognizes that she's staying back, he needs to come in, hit this this drip or this drop shot in toward the baseline at her, and then she needs to be setting up over here. But instead, she tries to take this ball, gets in his way, and then puts it way up. I mean, she's trying to hit it very close to her body again, like before. So I know the ball's getting popped up, but then I just kind of miss it. But I wasn't expecting her to come in and like try and take that shot. I was like, the ball should be his, but then she steps in and takes it. So I'm kind of caught off guard, and then I just end up messing up the ball. But that's the kind of stuff that you'll see at 3-0. You'll see very boneheaded plays like that actually end up working out just because it takes you off guard. And that's one of the hardest things about playing at 3-0 level, is because this is just very unstructured and it's not a lot of smart plays, but sometimes those plays end up working out because you're just not expecting it. And then I just get lazy and miss the slice return there. Yep. So again, she kind of got jammed there, just didn't have her paddle out in front of her body, and then I get a little lucky return there. Yep. So right there, let's see, we'll break this down. Again, a very, very short serve right here. I mean, we're talking like within a couple of feet of the kitchen line here. So, and then she kind of just does this little one-hand poke backhand, which is usually very ineffective. So again, I get a very short, shallow serve. She doesn't take advantage of it. She just basically gives me another very shallow shot. So it kind of neutralizes the point from there. So I'm going to float this in up the line and give it to her now. She pops it up and then gives me a ball right down the middle that I can volley. So I'm going to put it right down the middle and try to attack it. And then I get another pop-up, put it right down the middle, and then they both try to go for the ball there, end up missing it. So just another situation where they're both kind of in the middle and they both go for it, nothing good happens. So very, very shallow serve right there. Good reset there. And then I just kind of get the high volley there. So we'll break this down. Excuse me. Okay, so yeah, very, very shallow serve there. The return's pretty good, pretty deep, right at her body. And then she kind of leaves it hanging high. And then I try to reset it in here. So once again, she's reaching across her body, trying to hit this forehand. So I know the ball's probably going to be higher. And then she ends up pushing her off wide. Now, she does do a good job of resetting it back to the middle. And then gives her an easy drop. Now, she does kind of pop that ball up. And then I just get it put away at my feet. So that was a good sequence there. Yep. So same thing happening here with the positioning. So get a good deep serve right at his body. And then let's see. So yeah, right here. So again, I'm kind of jamming him. I'm basically hitting it right at his body, and he's not able to create enough space. He's hitting this ball very close to his body. So I know it's going to be kind of a loftier return. And then hits it pretty deep, but again, there's not a lot of pace on this ball. So she hits a pretty good drop right here in the middle and kind of jams her on the forehand. So the ball's like right in front of her body hitting this forehand. So I know it's getting popped up. There's not going to be any aggression or topspin on this ball. So again, look, it's very, very high. Now, look where she's at. She's standing over the line, actually, like leaving all this wide open space here. So as soon as I recognize that, I mean, that's exactly where I'm going. I'm going right up the line. I don't even have to put it there aggressively. I just have to drop it in right there, and she's way off balance trying to get to that ball. So another situation of where positioning is making all the difference on these points. So if you're not covering your line, if you're overstepping the middle, especially on this side, if you're very forehand dominant playing the right side and you're trying to overstep and play the middle, like, you're going to get creamed. Like, I'm sorry. It's just, you're just telling me exactly where to go. So that's the pattern that I'm looking for. And again, it's trying to hit everything with the forehand there. And as soon as we go to the backhand, it's like it all breaks down. So we'll kind of replay this here. So hit, decent serve, good return, but then, you know, again, she's getting jammed very close to her body on these shots. You know, not a lot of spacing between her body and the ball. So I'm like expecting everything to just get popped up softly without a lot of pace. So we're dinking it out. I go up the line to his backhand. He does a decent job there, but it's like as soon as the ball comes anywhere near her backhand foot there, I mean, it's like not a lot of good things are going to happen. So right there in that situation, it's like right there you got a choice to make. So she's kind of off the line here. So it's like if you can't take this ball out of the air, if you know the ball is going to drop in around your foot, you better pivot this left foot back. So kind of pivot around this right foot, drop that left foot back, and then probably just look to push that ball back up the middle or kind of out back to me here. But she kind of doesn't. She actually steps in a little bit, and then the ball's right at her foot, trying to short hop this ball, and it doesn't go anywhere. She's falling backwards trying to short hop a ball right at her foot. I mean, you're not going to win any points by making that shot. So, yep, and then just misses the ball there. So, yeah, so that was the end of the game there. So, a lot of key takeaways from this game. Number one, shallow serve and shallow returns. You know, on both sides, you know, that's basically setting up the point, right? If you can hit a deep, consistent serve and return, that's going to set up 90% of the point at this level, because most of the rallies are over in like 4 or 5 shots anyway. So if you can nail down a good serve and return, or take advantage of a shallow serve or return, I mean, there's a lot of serves or returns that were shallow that weren't taken advantage of. They were just kind of, you know, basically they returned the shallow serve with a shallow return and then just kind of neutralized the point from there. So if like you get that ball, like you got to take advantage of it. And then the next big thing is court positioning. You know, again, when you have both players hugging the middle here, it opens up a lot of opportunities and angles, right? I can go down the middle and kind of jam both players, or kind of confuse them, or I can go out to the line here and pull them out wide, push them off balance, set myself up for an Ernie potentially. So lots of things can go wrong when you have players hugging the middle tightly. We want to think about, a rope between both players, and the whole time that rope needs to be pretty tight. It's like if one player shifts over, let's say you have this right side player shifting over to cover their line, well then this left side player needs to shift over and cover more of the middle. And then let's say they dink it back to this other player on the far right side, well then now this left side player needs to shift over and this right side player needs to shift more to the middle. So it's like you're just kind of moving in sync, tracking the ball as it moves across the court. And so in that situation, it's like you're never going to have two players in the middle. As long as you're kind of tracking each other and you're in sync, you shouldn't have to worry about that. So that was my biggest takeaways from this game. Let me know your takeaways. Let me know if you learned anything, if there's anything that you saw in this game that maybe you're doing, any mistakes that you're making or things like that. Let me know, and then I look forward to seeing you in the next video.